Okay. Ole wake ningewapata na balozi hapa. Mungeniona mbaya leo. Wewe ulipotoka hapa wewe mbona unatoka ukisema nini? Wanaume wengi. Haya, hao wanaume wengi waje wakuwa huko nje. Unatoka tu kwa hapa nje niko ndani. Eti wanaume wengi. Haya, umelala huko hizo siku zote. Umeolewa?
Amelala siku ngapi nje?
Anajua kwa hesabu yake.
Umelala siku ngapi nje?
Sasa mbeki ile kwa ule mama. Leo madukani pale.
Nilikwambia uende juu ulikataa kulala kwenye nilikuwa nimekuelekeza. Ungelala kwenye nilikuwa nimekuelekeza, singekwambia utoke uende huko. Stupid.
About. Oh my God. What is? Yeah.
Bebo paguturi. Paguturi. Ma.
2 years.
And a half.
Sasa mbona mumpeleki hospitali?
Si walipeleka. Aliraswa kwa Teresina.
Kwa Teresina. Sasa hizi sini these are this.
Kimeshindikana sasa. Sasa walimfukuza ambe. Ati sasa hawamtaki na mtoto huyu kila.
So she's chased out of where she was married. Uko na miaka ngapi?
14.
You are 14 years. Look at the early pregnancies, guys, and early marriages, what it brings to the society. Now you can even see, oh my God, this is a child, and guys, it's... Hello, beautiful folks, wherever you are, welcome back. It's _Gintu back again, coming out from the G Castle here, and now getting much of the things coming to you live, which is one-on-one. Respect to you, whoever is just tuned in, which is keep it tuned, keep it locked. As we're going to be starting this kind of the video and talking about, thank you each and every kind of the person. If you are first time watching this kind of the video, starting one-on-one from the G Castle here, we're going to be saying that everything is so fantastic and just very nice. And guys, a bit today, I'm going to be starting with what happened yesterday a bit, as I'm going to be covering this kind of the section ones, and every kind of the person should understand how it is. Yesterday I covered one of the stories talking about one of the ladies has been chased with the husband from her own home, and due to the undergoing perseverance of the poorness, and talk about how life is, talk about the hardship of the life, has been gotten to this kind of. Right now that we're going to be talking is the life is a bit hard, and also the life is a bit getting experience to much of the people right now. And what I can come out is I've gone there, she has already vacated, and I wanted to have a surprise to her, but she has already ran, and the guardian who was with her, she told me about the lady went, nobody knows how she went. A little bit when I was talking to that kind of the video and talking to that kind of the lady, I saw there was an attitude like that kind of the lady was a bit, the mentality was not doing the work, and the mentality was a bit low in a way that understanding was very poor. Because when we were just talking and consoling with her and talking about this is not the nature of coming up with such kind of a child, she was chewing the cassava, the talk about the fermented one, also the drying one. So she was a bit like the hungriness, the poorness, the poverty she has been passing through. It has already made her a bit to be in a struggling life. And what I can come out is she has already evacuated. Even the guardian, she doesn't understand or know where she is. She told me that if you're going to be looking for her, and if she's going to be getting her where she has just rushed to, she's going to be giving me the feedback about it. There's somebody who supported her with something which are clothing and some food for her to eat and survive a bit, but she is not available. And I talk about going to be reporting live what is always available, because she is not around. And I'm going to be looking forward to understand where has she ran to, and how going to be checking on her and getting her back, or how we're going to be helping her. Because already I saw even Pharaoh the boy commented and talked about, Gintu, because in Tanzania, to help such kind of a Tanzania is a bit a problem. Here in Kenya, I can just be assured that I can just go to talk to the government or the civil service people, the civil servants people in Tanzania, and see if we can just help her a bit. But where are we going to be getting her if she has evacuated? Because she was, even yesterday, told her, no, don't go, just relax here. She was about to foot to Sirari and carrying such kind of a baby. I understand it's something which is a bit headaching in the village, and I said it, that in the village you have more problems. If somebody can come out to excavate them, you'll just wonder what has happened to this kind of the regime we are, or what has happened to this kind of the society. Don't see much of the people walking, talking about, oh, we're gonna be this way, we're gonna be that way. My friend, there are people who are suffering more than what you think about. There are people who don't have even a single meal. There are people who are struggling to have even something very strategic and to their own life and talk about, I have achieved this. There are people who work below 50 cents US dollars per day, and even some of them have zero per day, and that's what I can say about. And yet also it's something that we have even been relaxing. There are much of the things that I can absolutely come out and talk about it effectively, like number one, most of the people we have ventured into drug abuse, and which is mentally draining our own brain, and not having that kind of the mentality and talk about the posture of doing something which is strategically can be seen, which is making us to be failing in each and every kind of the things we are doing. Talk about in this kind of an instance, somebody can talk about, okay, you have used your own drugs, you have sniffed, you have smoked, you have done whatever is necessary, you have drunk, and when it comes to waking up in the morning, you find that you cannot even wake up and build the nation, develop the nation. There's no need. And you think about, okay, whatever, can just go to town, ask Gintu, ask somebody, any YouTuber who is passing there, please help me with 50. If that person talks about, okay, I cannot give you that kind of the 50, you start abusing, which is one of the mentality that's draining much of the boys in town. They wake up early in the morning, subjecting themselves into this kind of the hiding spots, talk about the bushes here and there, to do whatever is not necessary, altering their own bodies, talking about they are energizing themselves, which is a bit a problem coming out with this kind of the absolute generation we are. And also when it comes to that, we have early marriages, which has also made the premature marriages, and also a child, talk about a child giving birth to a child, which is a bit a problem also. Whenever you see, like yesterday, that lady, she doesn't understand herself. She doesn't know is there a government. She doesn't understand is there a hospital, which is something even the hospital can reject, because you don't have any card. How are you going to be paying it? They still don't see that you don't have anything to offer to the such kind of the facility, because sometimes the owner of the hospital or the nurses can uptake that kind of a serious case, or take such kind of an instance as a case and talk about, okay, let's put this kind of the child where necessary. And whenever it comes to now the payment, because the hospital, if it's not a government oriented hospital, it's a bit a problem whenever it comes to solidizing or treating this kind of the child with free labor, free everything, medical free. How is it going to be? Because they want profit, and also to run the hospital to go on, which is a bit a problem whenever it comes to that. And also going to be covering this kind of the story of the Jigas family. I'm going to be talking about, guys, we are still on the death of the hospital, talking about we are being told we have to pay 30,000, which is remaining as a debt, because they are charging 10,000 per each head for a full month, which will give us a bit range of time to build their own house and come out effectively to talk about that kind of the house. It has become a permanent solution to their own lives, which will make them a bit to be strategically pinpointed, that they are even recognized to the surrounding. They are even having something that can talk about they are orienting themselves to their own environment. Why is this kind of the thing things happening, because not everybody is happy with whatever you are doing. You can even talk about this. Even YouTubers, I've seen them. They are even doing this kind of the way you see the Jigas family has been done, in a way that they talk about, oh, why is Gintu having much of the people to the site? Every time people are just building the G Castle, the G Castle is getting forward. Why am I stopping? And they don't have the absolute any kind of the reason to come out and talk about why is Gintu continuing. They can even absolutely go to this kind of the witchcraft and talk about, I want to take Gintu's soul, or to take Gintu's kismat, and it becomes mine, which is one of the things that I've ever seen it reacting, and I've seen it coming out, because much of the people right now, they have more of the jealousy. I've left much of the teams talking about, oh, Gintu, you're going to be talking about this, you're going to be talking about this, or Gintu, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that. I don't do that. And what is going to be coming right now is one. Even tomorrow, it's a bit of the information I'm going to be getting to the court tomorrow for this kind of the reconciliation that's going to be coming out one-on-one live, and a bit of it's going to be covered tomorrow to understand what's going to be captured from that kind of the essence of the moment, or from this kind of the pursuit of the case, how it's going to be moving on and on. I think about how this kind of the things will be moving. I understand, because today it was the case of the other people, and tomorrow it's going to be mine, and we shall find ourselves at that kind of the area. But it has drained Gintu a lot of money. It has drained, and it has done much of the terribles. Even I can just talk about, I could have already finished this kind of the G Castle at this kind of the moment. But that is the nature for the survival values, and the people who doesn't want to see you progressing. They'll ever tend to talk about what are we going to be making to make sure that Gintu is drained. We don't want to see Gintu having this kind of the far end. But who are the subscribers? Gintu have a strong team. Very kaboom, boom, boom, boom. And I respect much of the people coming out and talking about Gintu, let's make it happen. Because there's nothing can ever hinder our own emotions not to come out evaluatively and talk about going to be tackling this kind of the acquisitions and titulating and berating much of the essence of the matters that are going to be arriving outside here with no matter to be handled here. So a bit right, we are going to be talking about everything is just moving so carefully, very nice, and I respect much of the people who are tuned in for the first time to talk about Gintu. What? Gintu here. Gintu. We're going to be making it happen. We're going to be like Tupac, and everything going to be coming out so effective. I'm going to be taking you around as going to be checking what are going to be coming out from my home, which is making much of the people to be jealousy about Gintu. Keep it tuned, keep it locked as we're going to be making it happen. And we are continuing with this kind of the area, and already it's walking like a white scarred colors. And talk about, oh, Gintu, are you scheming or you are painting? This is a scheming. Yeah, man. And everything is so fantastic. We're going to be standing a bit further, and you can just see how it's going to be coming out at this kind of the point. Now, just all welcoming, guys, and this is the best way for us to make it happen, because things are going to be moving out on and on as the G Castle now is shining from the far range, and also having much of the amusement to talk about. This is the G Castle on one-on-one, and keep it tuned. Coming to you in a short while, as going to be covering much of the sports and how the things going to be coming from this kind of the point one-on-one. Wagwan, guys, wagwan, as this is the best module, the best way ever possible to come out with and talk about this is the way forward, and you're going to be making it happen. Yeah, man. Going to the Babylon. Yeah, guys. So he is continuing a bit to the far end. He has not yet finished there. And some of the spots that you can see that this kind of the wires that you're going to be getting much of the biggest, talk about the good and the one of the modernest lightings that will be placed outside here. One of the modernest are going to be getting to Nairobi so they can just do much of the shoppings that will help us to move. And I'm going to be talking about the motorbike. Today is today. Tomorrow gonna be another day. Guys, that this motorbike has helped me in one of the best opportunities, and also helping much of the vulnerables. And I'm gonna be talking about when I brought this kind of the bike for the first time, for the people who saw when I oriented it back. And I said it that I came and I found my dad who was available, and before he just demised a bit, and rest in peace the legend Mr. Sigano a bit wherever you are, and praying for for us to have it, making it possible, because this is the best way for us to move and make it happen. So this kind of the bike is moving like Safari Rally, and also the mileage, because we have much of the time to cover it up and also come out with the best momentum. It has taken very many people. It has taken surprises to many people. It has taken sick people to the hospital. It has done meticulous job. Even when I oriented it to my father, I told my father that it is here to help the community, not only Gintu, not only Gintu's home. Anybody who is in need, it will be there and subjected there to help match and come out and talk about this is the best way for us to move and talk about kaboom. Exactly. We're going to be getting inside here so you can just check what is really roaming out at this kind of the pinpointment of the day, and also what is coming out at this kind of the moment here. A bit. Wow, the work continues. The skimmer guy is here and looking so whitish. Hi, man. Everything is very nice. I've recognized your presence.
Thanks.
Fantastic. So you are withdrawing much of the water?
Yeah.
So for mixing, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly. Today we're gonna be finishing there?
Yeah, I will be finished that underneath.
Underneath.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we continue the other amusement, eh?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow is another day.
Yeah.
Exactly. We are mixing here some of the sand here and talk about the ratio here, and everything is moving. Hi, man. Recognizing the presence.
Everything is good.
Everything is cool.
Yeah.
What's your name, bro?
My name is Isaac.
Oh, your name is Isaac? Yeah. Yeah. You are the one who was out to be given out to God for free.
For free.
Yeah. And what happened?
Gone. I'm not remember.
To the Bible scripture, he was taken to somewhere so he can just be slaughtered, but to give sacrifice to God. And whenever they reached there, they found that some of the sheep are already available, eh? And God was testing Abraham. Fantastic, exactly. So you're gonna be getting there. I'm not good in CRE, which is the religious, but I'm very good in terms of capturing some of the stories that I was ever hearing and getting from the school. I was not stupid in school, I can tell you. I was not, but I was not good in terms of the religious education. Whenever now it comes to the stories that are be told, I always get them. Exactly. So that is the best way for us to go. She's not Kimberly. Some people can talk, oh, this is Kimberly. No, this is a small lady here a bit. So everything's so nice. How are you? Everything is good. Yeah. The base. We have a very good base. So guys, we are withdrawing water from one of the biggest borehole here, which is very natural, and one of the biggest boreholes around, and it doesn't dry up. Very meticulous. So back to this kind of the spot here. Much of the people are making it happen, and we have this kind of my mom's kitchen. It's gonna be finished up, and which is making us to move one-on-one, which is the best way for us to move and making it happen. He's called Nyuki. Nyuki, hi.
Hi.
Do you know what is Nyuki? Yeah, and talk about, we have 3 top masons here, and they are still on it in the construction here a bit, and I think it's the best way for us to go. So you can now see at that kind of the far end. Are you going to be finishing out the house?
There.
No, the whole house, not there.
Today I can't sure.
You're not sure?
Not
Why are you not sure and you are down already?
I want to raise
transfer.
Transfer.
You are donkeys.
Yani kumaanisha kwamba leo tutajaribu kumaliza.
Au mtajaribu. So okay. Kujaribu is they're gonna be trying to finish. Exactly. We are looking forward, and the teams are in, and now talk about it has just reached where to an extreme point, and everything gonna be so fantastic at this kind of the momentum here. So I'm gonna be checking this just like a bridge here a bit, and I'm hearing some of you can hear from the other side a bit. The guys are getting some of them. Hello?
Hello, yes.
Mambo vipi? Oh yeah, guys, at this kind of the back here, a bit we are having a wall of that kind of the house that was here, and he's trying to make sure they're going to be getting it out. And I see much of the soil has leaked inside this kind of the underground water tank, and I think we're going to be getting them out whenever we're going to be finished. We wanted to demolish it to have talk about they're going to be even. You understand this kind of the construction? It needs for you to construct while you are out. and when you are in a bit, it will be a problem and encountering much of the problems here. So he's taking this kind of the iron sheets here, because already that kind of the house, it has been increased in a way that they cannot bring much of the insecurity alongside our home here. So back to the bricks. Already I told you that the bricks can even take like 4 to 5 days only, and it will be ready for the use, which is approximately right today. What we are talking about right now is that they are on it to make sure that they are removing this kind of the talk about the bricks and getting them for the construction, and some of the ones that are never were not burnt completely, they are going back to the center where they have to be stored. Very, very fantastic. Mambo vipi bang?
Safi.
Kila kitu iko chonjo?
Iko sawa.
Yeah, these ones, they were not burnt completely, so they have to go in, and they will be arranged again at the another time to make sure you're gonna be getting fire at that kind of the moment there. So you can now see how the bricks are, and they were burnt completely, and already it's cool, and because the rain has been raining, and what I can just talk about is the rain cooled it very fast, but also they cool very fast whenever the underground, talk about the underneath fire that was placed at the mouth there, whenever it's just put off, and at the top also it goes off completely after burning. So it gives a bit of 48 good hours, and it goes off at that kind of the moment. That's the best way for us to go and make it happen. But most of them, they got much of the fire. It's only the sided ones, like this one here, it never got fire. The side ones only, but this ones here, from here, they got much of the fire, and they're so good to be used in the construction. So we are moving, and everything will be just moving so okay at this kind of the moment here. And talking about God is protecting us to have it coming always and always here. And also I have some of the farms that are always getting on and on, because there's a time I showed you when I was doing something called plowing, and these are just some of the gardens here. You can now see the maize is coming out fantastic. So it's now talking about going to be placing here much of the fertilizers, as it's going to be getting very, very nice at that kind of the moment. So that is what we are just looking forward to, and understanding what is coming out at that kind of the time. So everything will be just placed unto you, and also coming to you live, which is one-on-one, and placing everything where necessary. So getting back to the toilet here a bit, it will just wait until the kitchen is about to go, and they're going to be coming back. If we're going to be supporting into also, I can just continue this kind of a bit right here. So I always help other people, and I also understand some of the people will be touched talk about, oh, can't you help also? Let's even me help you a bit, and make sure that the G Castle is coming to be the best way for us to grow. So here, this kind of much of the people are going to be asking about how is everything. We are still heaping this kind of talk about the cow dung here, and it's going to be used in terms of getting it to this kind of a structure that was already here. So already it's done, already it's complete, and already everything is on. Now you can even see how it has been built here. A bit going to be having a lower point and an upper point, and this kind of the upper point, I think this is a mixing chamber, and it will be just used at this kind of the point here. It will be used to scoop that kind of talk about the slurry that will be mixed, talk about the cow dung and water. It will be mixed at this kind of the spot here, and whenever it's like slurry like, it will now be picked from the lowest point. Do you understand? Whenever it comes to the fish farm, I ever talked about, we have something called the harvesting spot, or the harvesting pot, or the harvesting spot. That kind of a harvesting pot, it's like this one here. The other side is upper, this is a lower point. Where there's a lower point where you do something called harvesting pot, that's where whenever you drain the water from a fish pond, it gets there, and the water cannot get off from that kind of harvesting spot, and you can harvest fish from that kind of the lowest point more possible. That's why it's happening to this kind of the chamber, the mixing chamber at that area. So this is a gas area, and we're going to be talking about, you can now see it has been built more fantastic and secured in a way that there's nothing can come to harm it or bring much of the problem to this kind of the chamber here, and bring such kind of the shenanigans. Coming to this kind of the first chamber, and I can talk about it's now dried, and you can now see you can hear the echo. Ooh! And I'm going to be getting inside. Woo! You can hear much of the echo. And this is how it is. Coming from this kind of the position. A bit, it's going to be bringing out the sound in an echo manner. But we are looking like we are in a mosque. And that is the effect of this kind of the chamber a bit. And I can talk about it has been sealed in a way that we have this kind of a hole that will be just protruding the gas. And I can see this kind of the wall is very wet at this kind of the time. Understanding that we have also this is a spot here, and this kind of the water will be withdrawn from this kind of the spot and get out, because we need a clear path as we're going to be starting this kind of the slurry, and also we can call it the animal waste, which is the cow dung, whenever it's going to be coming in. This is an entry. This is where the mixed slurry will be coming through this chamber. And this is like a fermentation chamber that will be used to ferment this slurry of a mixture of water and cow dung. And much of the pressure, because of the fermentation, that kind of the slurry will tend to, how can I call it? A bit expand, and that expansion is which brings out the air. And that air that will be brought out between the fermentation, it will tend to push the slurry coming out through this part. And when it covers up to this spot, the slurry that will come out from this kind of the position will be pressuring and bringing that pressure down. And whenever it pressurizes it will be pressurizing this gas that will be here, and it will tend to come out through this hole, and we will find the gas outside. That is the main point that can come out from this kind of a bunker to talk about things are changing. We have not been entitled, maybe from the village, people will not talk about Gintu one day, one time, he could come to have such kind of the best selection, or coming out with such the best way of making things to be wonders of the day, because nobody in this area has such kind of a structure whereby Gintu gonna be the first person and are gonna be teaching much of the people on how it works. Because when even I started something called the fish program, I never knew what was the fish farming and how it was. And at that moment, I came to learn from the field as I was progressing with that kind of the work. And the rearing of fish was so immense in a way that I came to understand it like a lecturer, and I could be a professor of it. Because I can entail and teach you from the ground, the grass level, the nothingness, and to whatever you know, up to something that you have never known about. So when this kind of the slurry will be full inside here, and the gas is pressurized to come to this kind of the upper chamber that looks like a triangle, and this kind of the zone I'm standing, the whole of this, it will be full of the slurry until this is an outlet. That outlet will be acting perpendicularly in a way that if it's full here and you insert from the main chamber, you put or you mix the water with that kind of the cow dung, and you pour it through that through that pipe from that kind of a zone, from that kind of a zone, it will come through inside here direct. And why is it coming through the downer area? It's because when you put it through down and it insert itself from down, it means that it will be coming through, it's like a river. Let me say it this way. When you are having something like a fish pond, you understand, like my fish pond are called earthen fish ponds. So we are having water coming out in something called a natural way of capillarity. the water is coming from the sides and the water is just coming through the inlet. Why is the inlet available? It's one measure that inlet is bringing water through the upper section while the lower section is getting water out through the top. And why is the inlet down and the outlet is on top? The inlet brings through down, so as that water will come through downwards, but the one that comes out is coming from up. So as energy, or talk about the oxygen concentration, can be combined or built from the background of the fish pond to come out with something which is the best in that kind of the fish pond to rear the fish. And that's why you see much of the algae, the algae is mostly growing from the down level and getting from the top. It starts from the top going down, and it finds the oxygen concentration down level is of high, and it comes out more fantastic to come out. It's the same to this kind of the chamber. That kind of the slurry from there, it will be deposited down, not from the top, from down. As it's gonna be pressurizing down, this kind of an outlet, that whenever you put there, you understand whenever you have water, it is indefinite. So already if it's indefinite, when you put from that area, it comes to the chamber, it pressurizes this one while it comes out, while the fresh one is getting in. That is how this kind of talk about the biogas is working. And already we have the system already, it has reached to the top section, talk about even to the kitchen. What we needed is to make sure that we are giving it out from the way it was, in a way that my mom was ever using this kind of the 3 stones, talk about smoking daily out and in. Since she was even married to this kind of the home, she has been using much of the firewoods, and you can never know the chest problem. Some people can talk about, oh, I'm feeling very bad in the chest, oh, I'm feeling this. You can never know some of the harms ever came from the past. Talk about your past. How was your past? That's what I can just talk about and reveal. So guys, as far as everything is in concern, I'm going to be updating you and giving you much of the things, how they come, how they are going to be solved, and how everything going to be moving from one position to another. Keep it tuned. Back to you on how everything going to be coming from this kind of the session. And I love you. Much of the people talking about Gintu. Let's make it happen and support Gintu. Tomorrow going to be having that kind of the case, and we're going to be checking on how it's going to be coming. As going to be supporting Gintu, so you can just make it happen. Let everything be rhyming. Let everything be moving from one position to another without much of the problems. So keep praying, keep on making it happen. As we're going to be talking about Gintu, we are getting forward. And that's the best for us to run and make it happen. Tomorrow is another day. As you keep it tuned, keep it locked. Coming back to you in a short while. Guys, I'm back to this kind of the lady, and where I left her sitting, that's where she is, and I had to rush back to Nyabuanse and get much of the house if she's gonna be staying there a bit, and talk about the father-in-law. He is here. This is the father-in-law, and sasa tata no my Kiingereza chafu or Kiswahili. So guys, I'm going to be translating, and we're going to be getting to know what has caused this kind of the mayhem about this kind of the family and solving it out. So nini imefanyika na huyu msichana?
Huyu msichana kijana alipomleta, sikujua vile wameishi hapo ndani kwa ndani. Lakini tu anafikia mahali pa kumkataa.
Sasa guys, so guys, he is talking about his own son brought her here home, and he never knew that the boy gonna be marrying, or the son gonna be marrying, and he never knew which kind of the terms and conditions they had until they came back home here. And he's talking about it has reached a time now the boy has denied the lady, and now the lady is just traumatized, and she's left with nothing to do, and it's just sitting the way she is, just at the backyard there, just seated, and she has been told that today she has not to sleep here. That's why I'm just here to intervene about it. Sasa kitu moja, mbona amemkataa?
Amemkataa na pia mimi chana mwenyewe ananiambia kila amekosania na kila amechukia kwake. Kama yangu sinyarale bora. Oh. Sare nyagambira gani yako sina hapo na nya hata musikira kali kuchweki gara gara hanse mna mchabo ni yarante wikimanga hanga mata sikeni na musikeni jamu ne kagenda ni ile swali chinzi
sorry
swali chinzi
tana musika
musikeni nalio Imana ni gali hizi na wiki hata ya nuli chokere na handa muri atomuro chayi umuronda kinka ni bibi ni gukuri chokere na waratora agore go hano wiki hasi bani gahi
guys, he's talking about the son was here and when I think he has heard about the motorbike, then he has left. And what I can just say is he's talking about what the husband has denied about the wife is I'm gonna be going direct to the point. The husband is talking about the lady. She is talk about peeing talk about she is peeing in the bed, and whenever it gets to the morning, the bed is already water like structure. You think about they're gonna be swimming there, and that's what that kind of the causative agent. And the father is talking about that's what the son said, and he's also lamenting that the son said about he had also put her down. She was sleeping down floor, not even this kind of the mattress, down floor for 2 weeks because she was peeing on top of the bed, and that was the misery that has made the husband to terminate this kind of the marriage at this kind of the moment. Everybody has his own ways of talking about this has caused this has caused this. We cannot talk about from his own mentality how it is. Sasa yeye wakati alileta huyu bibi yake alikuambia ni wa kutoka wapi na ni wa wapi?
Hata yeye mwanangu shara saka kaka nipo umwana abuta ante promo hapo masoma
Kwao ni Msoma.
Kibula chire mono nari kujeki bitongo chi sacha bara mpaka baramukira bona tanu mona ante biromo no ngusinyara lenkabura hande kwenda ikikira tangu ni bana bachaba nyagome.
So ndio maana. So what is being handled at the back here is a bit like we're gonna be solving this kind of the matter once and for all. What is causing much of the mayhem is the ladies having much of the pogroms and intercoms, which gonna be falling apart. Talking about even she was in Msoma coming to this kind of the space here. Hishi dere. Sasa nini imekuwa bana mpaka umeambia huyu bibi aende bana? Nini ni mbaya?
Ni mwanamke asiyekuwa na mwelekeo.
Ni mwanamke asiyekuwa na mwelekeo.
Hana bidii kama wasichana wengine.
Hana bidii.
Wanawake wengine wakiolewa wanajituma, wanajua maana ya shamba ni nini. Na wanajua kazi ya mwanamke kwa nyumba ni mambo ipi na ipi. So kama yeye mpaka mimi ndo nikuje nimshtue wewe fanya hivi. Kama ni kwenda shambani mimi ndo nimwambie, kama kwenda kufua mimi nimwambie. So nitaenda kazini ama nitashinda kwa nikifundisha mtu biashara? Hiyo ndo swali. Niende kazini ama nishinde kumfundisha kazi ya mwanamke?
Okay.
Hiyo ndo swali. Cha kwanza, cha pili, mimi kwa hiyo harakati aliyonayo kuishi naye, kwa nimekubali kuishi naye. Kwa hiyo hali mpaka ya mtoto, ila kwa venye ameendelea na tabia zake kichwa kigumu, ni mtu asiyekuwa na kuelewa. Juu hata dadangu akiwa hapa hajaenda kwake, alimkalisha chini akampatia maelekezo bibi ya mtu venye anafaa kubehave. Shemeji yangu hapa bibi akamkuba akamwelekeza, but hataki kuelewa. Baba pia shahidi ashakumwelekeza. Ani wananchi wangu wote wakaji hapa wote. Baba ni watu wazima wakongwe. Washamwelekeza, ila ni mtu mwenye akili yake iko nyuma kimaisha. Naona akili yake iko nyuma kimaisha.
She doesn't understand life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Na anafaa kitu kenye mimi naonelea ni mtu anafaa kuishi kwa mama mwenye ana kijana mwenye ameoa. Huyu atilifu anaweza kaishi pale kama msichana huyo mama ama mkamona huyo mama. Naona itakuwa ni vizuri. Hajafikisha kiwango yeye kuolewa bado.
Na mbona ulimuoa?
Nilimuoa nikiwa najua na ameshahitimu na miaka yake ilikuwa inachangia labda eti amehitimu, but kumbe hata miaka yake bado ni kidogo na plus na tabia yake pia inachangia.
Wakati mlipatana akiwa na mtoto?
Ndio.
Na uliamua tu kumchukua na mtoto?
Niliamua kumchukua. Kimchukua yeye pamoja na mtoto. Mtoto alikuwa yuko chini, alikuwa amembeba mgongoni. So sikuwa nimeweza kumwangalia mtoto akoje. Unapata ni mtu alikuwa amemfunga tayari kwa mgongo na ana mizigo yake na manguo. Mimi nikamwambia sasa mama, twende tukaanze life. Nilipofika hapa nyumbani ndo mimi nilijua kesho yake ashalala hapa nyumbani. Ndo nilijua kesho yake. Hata mashemeji zangu wakati nikuja naye, mashemeji waliamua kuniuliza, vipi huyo mtoto anatembea kweli? Mimi niliitikia ndio. Kitu kile mimi nilikuwa sijui. Niliitikia ndio. Ila mimi nikuja kujua kesho yake kwamba mtoto atembei. Napata. Yeye mwenyewe hata hakuniambia issue ya mtoto, changamoto ya mtoto hakuniambia. Huo muda nikimpata kule. Wakati hasa nimeshala naye hapa asubuhi ndo akanielekeza 1 2 2 3 alipopitia mpaka akapata huyo mtoto yani.
Au ukakubaliana tuendelee na maisha?
Mimi nikakubaliana tuendelee na maisha. Ila bina nimekuwa nikiishi nani kiendelea kimaisha. Nimeona changamoto kwake ndo zinazidi kupanda.
Na mtoto ushampeleka hospitali?
Nishakumpeleka hospitali. Kwa Terifina na hata karatasi tulipewa ya daktari. Yeye mwenyewe kaichana kitandani. Kwa hiyo
so hiyo barua ilikuwa inamaanisha nini?
Hiyo barua ilikuwa ya mtoto kupigwa transfer kupelekwa kwa hospitali ya watoto Kihancha. Nilikuwa nimepigwa Migori. Ile daktari aliporudi akasema nichague kwenda Kihancha au Migori. Ile sema ambayo nitaona ni karibu kutumia fare.
Yeah.
So mimi nikachagua kwenda Kihancha. Siku ambayo imekaribia imefika ya kwenda Kihancha. Kwenda kutazama barua nikapata vipande vipisi.
Ishara
rudiwa nikatoka na nje hata nikamuonyesha ni nini. Kabla mimi nikachukua tu hapo nje nikaitupa. Kuliko tena kuregesha vitu kama ndani. Tena tukaendelea tu kukaa tu hivyo. Ambaye juzi ripoti imekuja kwamba kuna kijana atembeanga hapa mtaani anachukua ripoti za watoto kama hawa anapeleka mbele. Kwa hiyo na mimi nikachukua ripoti wa kwangu anafaa afike huko mbele. Ambaye sasa nikampeleka Mabera. Nifika pale nikakutana na chifu mwenyewe. Kaita chifu kando, kaongea na chifu. Kamuelekeza 1 2 3 kuhusu huyu mtu. Chifu alichoniuliza ni kwamba mke wako ana ID. Akamwambia hana. Ako na kadi ya mtoto ya kuzaa. Akamwambia mke wangu pia hana. Vyote vilipotea kwa harakati ya maisha yake penye alikuwa. Alipoteza hizo vitu hana. Chifu alichonijibu kwamba kiukweli wewe ni mwananchi wangu. Ila kukusaidia wewe mtu wako itakuwa ni ngumu. Hiyo nimetoka hapa saa 11 asubuhi. By saa 2 nilikuwa Mabera. Tumesubiri hadi saa 4. Madaktari walikuwa hajaingia bado. Tulivyosubiri ndo chifu kumuona, mimi kaongea na chifu. Tunamalizana kuongea na chifu hivi. Madokta ndo naona wanaingia na gari yao. So vile chifu alikuwa amenielekeza, nikaona tena haja tena nisubiri tena madaktari.
Hauna. So ukaona hali ishakuwa tete tayari.
Hali ishakuwa tete kimsaada. Juu mimi mwenyewe ni jobless, sina kazi na nilikuwa najaribu kutegemea kama serikali ingeweza kunisaidia hapo. Ila pia serikali nayo venye unasikia kama eti hauna kadi ya kuzaliwa.
Yeah.
Hauwezi ukapata msaada kwa serikali yani kwa hospitali ya
Okay. Guys, we are talking in Swahili a bit here and conversating a bit. The man is talking about he has tried his best to make sure that she's going to be getting this kind of the lady inside so she can have the wifelyhood and in terms of the house and maintaining everything. But the lady, she is so lazy and she cannot do anything. Even she cannot wake up early in the morning and go to the shamba or do whatever which will bring much of any kind of something which will trigger the talk about economically or socially. She doesn't participate in such kind of the way. And also he's talking about he has ever picked this kind of the baby as the baby, I don't know if she or ni msichana mvulana. She's a girl, and when they went up to even the government, so as they can just get the help from the government, the chief asked him about your wife, does he have an ID or does he have the birth or talk about the certificate of birth of the child? The wife doesn't have anything, and he thought about what am I going to do at this kind of the point, because I've talked about the ladies from Tanzania. Also, for her to be oriented here in Kenya or to get much of the services in Kenya, she should portray and she should have this kind of identification card and also this kind of the birth, the certificate of birth. And also he's talking about when they went to the hospital to get the card so they can transfer the child from the minor hospital so they can just go to the main hospital of the children so that the child can get the support of the government. And that kind of a transfer cheat, the lady tear it out, and the lady was now now complaining, talking about these are the rats have ate this kind of the transfer receipt, and that's why the man is talking about when he took that kind of receipt to go in Kehancha, because he was transferred to go to Kehancha, as he is talking about, he selected it to be, and the wife had already teared that kind of the paper out, meaning that already she has cancelled that kind of the paper. So he had to throw those kind of the papers out and talk about let the life continue. And also from him, he's talking about he got the wife from Tanzania, and also he never knew that this kind of the lady, she was carrying talk about a vulnerable child, in a way that the child was disabled, in a way that he never knew. And when they met, he just accepted, because she was carrying the baby onto the back, as yesterday she was carrying the baby at the back. And what happened is when they reached at home, they settled, and the wife, I don't know, you understand, whenever you bring the wife at the first moment, you understand what happens. You have to make sure that you're going to be orienting to understand if everything is standard, or which kind of the voice is going to be coming out as you press that kind of the fuel. So that's what we're going to be handled at this kind of the moment. And the following day, now talking about the sister, which is the sister-in-law or the sister-in-laws here, they start talking about, hey brother, do you understand that the baby or the wife you came up with here with that kind of the baby is not walking, and he never knew about it because it was at night. And sometimes you have this kind of the sign that sometimes they talk about whenever you go to a club and see that, you understand, whenever you put some liquor at the club during the night, you can talk about every kind of the girl in that kind of the villa, talk about the pub. They are so meticulous and awesome and so beautiful, but whenever it comes to the morning, we'll find that somebody is looking like Helter Skelter Babylon kills Lassie, which is becoming a bit of the problem whenever it's going to be encountered at that kind of the panel. So that is the briefing from her. Now we're going to be tackling to understand what has made him to make sure that he's going to be getting out at this kind of the time. Baba yako amesema kwamba wewe mwenyewe ulisema kwamba ye mwenyewe anakojoa kitandani.
Yeah.
So she pees at the bed, on top of the bed, usiku.
Yeah.
So na amefanya hiyo kwa muda gani? How long?
Toka muda nimekaa naye tuseme kama wiki moja. Na ndipo msafirisha kwenda kumwacha kule. Nasema mbona nimempeleka kidogo. Na pia ripoti kanifikia baadaye kwamba kutoka kule, sababu kutoka huko hadi kurudi hapa ni kwamba pia huko alifanya hivyo hivyo.
Okay.
Hakufukuzwa, hakugombezwa na mtu. Aliona aibu kuelezea familia kilichomkuta.
Okay.
Yeye mwenyewe akaamua kurudi mpaka hapa. Alivyokuja, mimi mtu amekuwa nishamzoea. Kabidi tu nikampokea, nikamkaribisha. Life tena ikaendelea. Tena alivolala hapa nyumbani kama mbili, ndio tena akafanya tena hiyo tena kitendo. Kabidi hasa nikamwambiaje kutoka kwenye kitanda kuliko niletea taibu zingine ambazo hazifai, kamtoa kitandani, kamweka kando kidogo na mtoto. Ya walale hapo kando. Sababu kubwa mimi tena kumuondoa ni hiyo. Kafika mahali nikamwambia hasa kuliko huko kila hapa karibu yangu. Kuna hiyo nyumba moja ambayo iko hapa kando. Sasa nikamwambia ingia hapa ndani au kilala hapa. Juu kijana wa dadangu alijenga hii. Alikuwa kilala hapo ndani akisoma. Nikamwambia ingie kwa hii. Kama ataweza, kama si akishindwa, njia mimi ni nyeupe. Sasa nikamzuia mimi asiende popote, kama akipata mtu mwingine anataka kumoa. Well and good, ya kubali sikatae. Juu unajua pia huyu atamchukua pia ataenda atajionea kenye mimi nimejionea.
So a bit of this kind of the moment he's talking about, he's getting it into the head and talking about some of the things that are going to be coming out is they have just spoken them out, talking about the lady, she is peeing on top of the bed, and which is the causative agent that is also one of the impact, the negative impact that are pressurizing her to get out of this kind of the home. And he's talking about he has not chased her out, he has given her a room so as she can just stay there, but the lady, she doesn't want, because she has been married, she thinks she is talking about she has to stay with the husband, and the husband is talking about he had to look for a certain time so as he can just put her aside and make sure that she's gonna be sleeping aside with the baby. But unfortunately she is not accepting that kind of the way of sleeping aside to make sure that other things could be getting at that kind of the range. And sasa sahi anaweza ishi hapa ama umeamua atoke?
Yeye kama ni kuishi, mimi msimamo wangu uko pale pale. Kulala naye kitanda kimoja, hiyo kwangu ishaisha.
Okay,
Hata nani
he's talking about there's no sleeping in the same bed, and what he needs is the standards are there. Talk about the conditions, terms and conditions are there. No sleeping in the same bed, and that is his terms. And also he doesn't want to see her in that house, but he has not chased her out not to stay. But sasa utasemaje msilale pamoja na ako kwenu na wewe ndio ulimleta? Sasa itakaaje?
Itakaa kama dadangu. Nimekubali awe dadangu juu kwa na mtu kama tena kitandani. Hiyo ni mimi na kesho tena kuanza kutembea nikinuka hiyo harufu hapana. Wasichana wengi wanataka kuolewa bana. Hata kwanza nishapata mwingine huko Bukira. Taleta hata hii wiki tu haitaisha namleta.
Guys, he's talking about he has accepted that now he takes that lady as the sister, and he's talking about if she's gonna be getting herself like she's gonna be like the sister, he has allowed it to be, but not sleeping with him, which is getting him much of the problems. Talk about maybe smelling whenever he meets much of the boys at the town and much more. So I think he's the rest of Asians. You understand? This kind of the life, whenever it comes to the marriage, it's not a joke. So when we come to this kind of the matter, it's a bit of Kihelter Skelter Kibabylon Kihil Selassie style here a bit, and you have to understand how the things are becoming. Sasa kwa hivyo umeamua aishi ama aende?
Kama ni kuishi, akishakubali kuishi hapo kwa nimemelekeza ni sawa. Ila kwa hilo swala kushimini na room moja, kitanda kimoja.
So wewe umemtelekeza, sema umemtelekeza.
Of course. Ambaye anahitaji kuwa na mke ama anahitaji mkamona, mimi akuja amchukue.
So you are advertising whoever wants to marry her.
No.
Come here and marry her and go.
Yeye akitembea akipata. Ila sijamweka kwa hiyo soko. Yeye akitembea akipata mtu amemwita tena mtongoza. Yes, kata yeye aende. Ataongoza kubali aende pate Boma.
How this life is. You understand, guys, sometimes it becomes a bit of a headache whenever it comes to now the Gen Z, whenever to this kind of the marriage. He's talking about he has allowed the wife to live and walk helter-skelter outside there. And if she's going to be finding a man who's going to be interested with her, it will be so good and good to go. So back to her, so as I can just handle this kind of the matter once and for all. Mambo vipi? Uko sawa? Wewe umekubaliana na hizo maneno zake zenye amesema kwamba hakutaki? Because we are solving it out, I want to understand from her, is she accepting this kind of the matters once and for all, or what is going to be? Because I have the motorbike here, already I've got a house for her, so she can just stay there for a bit if she is not needed here. If they have gotten a house here for her to stay, she's going to be staying here. Sasa unaamua aje?
Siwezi kuishi.
Hawezi ishi hapa. She's talking about she cannot stay here.
Bora tu nirudishe kwa mimi.
He has to return you where he got you from. That's what. Now getting back to the man. Today this is the work. Unamrudisha marudi mtoa. Amesema yeye kama unamrudisha umrudisha marudi mtoa.
Ukienda kwenye bucha kununua nyama uje nayo kwako ikiozo, unalegesha nyama kwa bucha ama unatupa? Hiyo ndo swali. Ukinunua nyama kwa bucha, umepata imeoza, unalegesha mwenye bucha ama unapatia umbwa? Hivyo tu full stop. Mimi huo muda kutoka na mtu eti kumlegesha wapi na wapi, hata aje mwanajeshi sisindikizi mtu tafadhali.
Guys, guys are coming from this kind of the position. He's talking about when you buy a meat from a butchery and you come back, talk about you come with it and arrive at your home and you find it has already rot. Will you return it, or what are you going to be doing? So I think it's just a direct translation that she has to evacuate with an immediate effect and vanish, which is making a bit of the traumatization. Lakini nikuuliza swali moja. Huyu msichana kiakili ako sawa na kila kitu ako sawa?
Kiakili niseme ako sawa.
So she is not mentally challenged. So she is well-being. So the husband has denied one-on-one live, talking about the lady she has to evacuate with an immediate effect, and which was the one that was just looking forward so as they can just get the husband, so as they can just hear one-on-one from him, so as they can just know what's going to be coming out as a consequence or a positive impact, and also handling this kind of the matter once and for all. So today I'm like a mediator, and I'm handling this kind of the matters once and for all. And the lady she's talking about, she is ready to evacuate from here, but she needs a person to get her back. So what I think about is getting back, it's money, or getting back is talk about to be accompanied. Wewe unasema unataka urudisho mahali ulitolewa. Kurudisho mahali ulitolewa na mtu mwenyewe, ama ni pesa, upatiwe pesa uende?
Nirudishe pale pale kwa amenichukua.
Sasa ya kurudishe. Guys, sometimes solving much of the matters here a bit a problem. What I can just do today is let me get with this kind of the lady back to Nyaboans a bit, and where she was, and also make sure that she's going to be getting a rest a bit, and make sure they're going to be looking forward to understand from the migration. She has to go back to her country with an immediate effect through the migration, and they're going to be talking through the migration officer, so she can just go back if it's going to be. But today, going to be looking for a certain position for her to stay a bit, so she can just get much of the things handled, much of everything going to be so fantastic. Umekula? Haujakula? She has not ate until this is 15, talk about 17 in the evening, which is a bit a problem. So guys, I'm going to be ending up this kind of the video from this kind of the fantastic module, and I have much of the phone calls from east, west and south here, and I'm going to be talking about, we're going to be getting it in touch. Also, the lady she has talked about, she has to go back, and the husband is talking about no meat will be returned to the butchery. So that is the best way for us to solve this kind of the matter once and for all, as I'm going to be getting back with her back to the center and make sure we're going to be getting her room and she settled. Tomorrow I'm going to be making sure I'm looking for the migration officers. She's going to be getting back to Tanzania, because that is the way forward, because some of the issues I'm going to be solving here is a come we stay. And they talk about it's a matter of getting maybe to town and get a flat with a lady and talk about, yeah, this lady has some nyash, this lady is looking so pretty, let me take this kind of the lady, maybe I'm going to be cucumberizing this kind of the lady meticulously and get her in touch. And that's what we're going to be coming out to talk about. Hello beautiful people, welcome back. And today it has become another day again, and one-on-one live with this kind of the lady. Yesterday I covered it, this kind of the story, and when I went back where she was, as this kind of the video was coming, I talked about, okay, let me go trace her, and if I can just find her bit, I'm going to be sorting out much of the things that are going to be arriving, as I shot much of the video yesterday talking about her. And what I can just talk about is we have just reached at home here, and where she was just running to so she can just evacuate from the home. I've just come back to the home. This is the home, and the people who are just available is just the grandfather, and talk about the father-in-law and the mother-in-law. They are here. Mambo koso? So a bit, guys, are going to be talking about, we have much of the problem still we're going to be covering at this kind of the spot, as the husband has denied that he doesn't want to see her at this kind of the home, and she has to evacuate, and also he doesn't want to see her back at this kind of the module where we are at this kind of the point, and also the husband is no longer available. What I can just talk about is both of them, they have the mental challenges a bit, and now becoming a problem, because you can now see she's trying to squeeze the child. She's trying to make sure that the child is not crying. I don't know if there's even food. I don't know if there's something that she can just like eat or do whatever. And how aged she is, and also the problem that we are encountering is whereby she is a Tanzanian, and getting to Tanzania with, if I'm a Kenyan getting to Tanzania and talking about to have some cameras ABCD, it will be another case, because Tanzanians we have a bit of the problems here and there, and I don't want to enter myself into the problems that I understand some of the talk about the YouTubers from Kenya, much of the content creators from Kenya, social media people from Kenya, they have ever been captured in Tanzania talking about ABCD. They go there with much of the thing. So whenever you are talked about, whenever they see you in Tanzania as a Kenyan and having a camera, they know that maybe you are going there as Gen Zs in Kenya. You understand what I mean? So to her, a bit going to be a bit of a problem, and I'm going to be looking for her a place for her to a bit sleep by today and get some of the rest there, because even right now we are here. The husband has promised us that if he comes back and find that we are still at this kind of the position, she's gonna be seeing fire without smoke, which we don't want her to be in such kind of a way. She has been traumatized already. She has been stigmatized already. She's in stress already, and things are gonna be getting and falling apart at this kind of the moment, which is even the background is not good that we can talk about. The environment is so much good for them. A bit a problem here, and what I can just say at this kind of the moment is I'm gonna be looking for her a home or a house for her to a bit of the moment settle and also get this kind of the module getting forward, and from there we can just look forward what we're gonna be coming out and helping her if it's gonna be coming at that kind of the module, because at this kind of the area we don't want her to have this kind of the because she doesn't know even where the home is, and she doesn't understand what gonna be popping out at each kind of the time, what gonna be coming out. It's a bit of a problem to her, and I don't want her to have such kind of the problems at this kind of the time. What I can just keep it up talking about is we're gonna be getting her a house, and after getting a house now I'm gonna be coming out effectively to talk about what we're gonna be getting from this kind of the panel. So I'm gonna be getting some of the phone calls here and understand if we're gonna get it's already in the evening. I don't know if I can get a house or whatever, and what will be popping out I'll be just giving it out at this kind of the moment, so we can just sort it out with an immediate effect here. So keep it tuned, keep it locked in, as much of the things are gonna be expelled and coming out to you vermusively. Keep tuned, coming to you in a short while. Guys, back again. I've been searching for a house a bit, and at long last I've just got this kind of the house here, and I'm gonna be getting this kind of the lady to come and stay here for a short while, and we're gonna be looking for a permanent solution also whenever it comes to that kind of the time. But at this kind of the moment, I understand the traumatization, talk about stigmatization, and I want to find a better house for her a bit, even if it's gonna be a single room, but I want her to stay for even today, because she had been denied at her home, and they're talking about if she's gonna be they're gonna be seeing her at that kind of the position at this kind of the time we're gonna be talking. It will be the clam of the day, because everything gonna be subsequently not handled the way it's gonna be. That's why I talk about I'm gonna be handling this kind of the matters with an immediate effect, and I've got much on the talk about if you're gonna be supporting us to make it happen also. That's why we are just finding this kind of the room, and all have to act one-on-one, perpendicularly per unit time with an immediate effect, so I can just sort this kind of the matter. So it's just a single room here with a bit of a talk about a kitchen a bit, if you're gonna be like a kitchen here, and gonna be making sure that everything's so fantastic here. I'm gonna be checking about the area, and this kind of the mattress belongs to somebody, and we're gonna be sweeping it a bit out to make sure we're gonna be a little bit cleaner, because one of the tenants has already talked about this kind of the person who was living here a bit. They have already got out, and that's why I'm gonna be picking it today, so as I can just handle this kind of the matter once and for all. So I'm gonna be getting there to pick her and get her back here, and they're gonna be making sure I'm gonna be buying some of the mattress or whatever gonna be coming out. I'm gonna be sorting it out so as I can just solve this kind of the matter with no postquams or kind of the intermediate effect, to make sure that you're gonna be coming here and making it happen. So keep it tuned. I'm gonna be back to you in a short while and handling this kind of the matter at this kind of the position. Keep tuned. I'm gonna be back to you in a short while with this kind of the lady one-on-one. Keep it tuned. Gonna be back to you in a short while. Hi.